Hello, everybody. Welcome to Elevating Your Life with Paula Vail. We have a really great conversation coming up today. I am sharing with you the fantastic guest, Jeanie Cisco Meth. She is a two-time best-selling author, professional speaker, educator, and parent. Jeanie shares her scientifically proven system for improving communication and decreasing conflict. She has written many magazine articles, been quoted in Forbes, and was a contributor for The Blaze. She has been a guest on radio stations across the country. She's appeared on television for ABC, Free Speech TV, and others. And we're going to be discussing today a recent book, and it's Bully Proofing You. And I just have to say this, Jeanie. I have been interviewing people over 6 years. I have read a lot of books. This book is the top of my chart.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
it was so fantastic. There were several times I teared up. It was just so powerful and wonderful. Just an amazing book. It's just, but so with that said, I just had to say it. Welcome. And if you'd like to share a little more of your background and what triggered you to write this amazing book, we would love to hear that, Jeanie.
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, I have to say thank you so much for letting me know how much you enjoyed it. When I was in elementary school, they told me that I was too stupid, that I would never make it through school. I had so many learning disabilities. And so I became a teacher so I could help people, who had the same afflictions, so to speak, that I did. And I developed the Bully Proofing You program when I was a teacher. I taught at an alternative high. And so it was kids who were in gangs and, drugs and all kinds of stuff. And I realized they needed a lot more than just the normal curriculum. And so I beefed up the curriculum specifically around belief in self, that personal value that we need so desperately. And I'd been teaching probably about 15 years. And one of my teachers' friends are like, you need to write a book. You need to write a book. And I'm like, no. Because every time I could hear my English teacher's voice in my head saying, you're so stupid. And I'm like, write a book. Are you crazy? So
Love it.
then we had a student who was in our school, but not in my class, commit suicide. And I was told by that teacher that maybe if you'd written your book, you could have reached this person. And I was like, oh my gosh, what if I could help one kid? And so I sat down and that was in my mind. And I'm like, okay, if I can help just one person, if I can save one life, my pain, my fear, my trauma will be worth it. And so that's what prompted me to write the book. And since then, I have transitioned to the stage. In 2012, I transitioned to the stage and I wrote my book. And now we get the pleasure of traveling all over. And I love it. Absolutely love it.
Your book is so amazing and so touching. And, it's so easy to be stuck in a place and not think we can get out or not think we can break through that bullying, and to know we're not alone, and to get beautiful words and stories shared by you. It's absolutely amazing. I'm really touched. Myself, I was bullied in school, and there was a year in junior high I didn't take my coat off. It just it's and you give so many powerful messages, and it's many times people don't realize what you're going through, and people can be bullied and no one realizes that they are.
Right.
And I have to share a few things that just really struck me. something that you said, hurt people, and healed people, heal people.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is really powerful. And it is true, wouldn't you say? Some of the people that are doing the bullying, it's not you. It's not you, the victim. It's them and their low self-esteem or what they're going through or their ego. How would you describe that to us?
I've heard it called leveling, and I'm going to Jeanieize it because I don't remember where I heard the concept from, but I know what it is. And so the idea came from someone else, but it's in my words.
Mhm.
And so leveling is when I feel, lower than someone else. And so I tear them down to bring us more even. And so what happens is when I'm hurting and I'm not feeling well, and I come across somebody that I think is prettier than me or smarter than me or, whatever than me, I tear them down. And so that's really where, in my opinion, where bullying stems from, is the pain that the person is going through. And they look around and they're like, well, that person, I got to tear that person down so that we're more even.
Yes.
And if people could just really remember that when you're being attacked, it can be difficult to not go into fight or flight or freeze and just pause a moment and say, okay, it's not about me, it's about them. And the first part of my book, in the introduction, there's a quote from Viktor Frankl that says, between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space lies our power to choose. And in that space lies our growth and our freedom. And that's exactly what we're talking about. Here
Yeah.
comes the stimulus. I have time to decide how I'm going to respond. And
Yeah.
that's really the premises upon which that whole book is based.
Yes. And we can choose the response we take in that, can't we?
Yeah, we absolutely can.
Yes. A few years ago at a high school reunion, I had a man walk up to me and say, Paula, I just want to say that I'm sorry I picked on you.
Oh,
And I didn't really remember him specifically, but I asked a question I had wanted to ask my whole life. Why did you pick on me? And he said, because I wanted to pick on someone and you were shy and nice and it was easy. So it wasn't about me or who I was. It was just I
right.
was an easy personality for him to pick on.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's so frequently. That's why the first part of the book is totally dedicated.
Mhm.
The first part of the book is totally dedicated to that building of the personal value, the foundation that all of us need to have so desperately.
Yes, yes. And something else that really struck me was so often we think it's the big decisions that will have the largest impact on us. Many times it's the small day-to-day ones that shape our lives. Oh my gosh, that is such a powerful statement, Jeanie.
Yeah. Well, it's, when we have a big decision coming up, where should I work? Where should I go to school? Who should I marry? Where should I live? We usually spend quite a bit of time thinking about, getting the pros and cons, thinking about it, what would work best. And so those usually don't have as big of an impact as my attitude every day when I wake up. If I wake up in the morning and I'm grumpy and I'm, stumbling around and cursing the day, guess what? I have a bad day. But if I wake up in the morning and I say, I love my life, thank you, Lord, for another day to become the person you see in me, that sets my day up for
Yes,
something totally different. And that's what I choose.
yes. And isn't that so amazing and beautiful and exciting that we can begin our day with that kind of mindset, that kind of verbiage that we put out? It does. It affects our whole day.
Yeah. Yeah, it absolutely does. And so that resiliency of being able to bounce back, remembering, oh, so when I was a teacher, one of my peers showed up and she was in a horrible mood and she was all grunchy and crunchy. And I'm like, what's going on? She's like, I got a flat tire this morning. I can't believe it. And I said, oh, okay. And then she said, why does this always happen to me? And I said, really? You had a flat tire yesterday too? She's like, well, no. I said, oh, the day before? No. Okay, when was the last time you had a flat tire? Well, I don't know, and I'm like, then why would you say this always happens to me?
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
You had a flat tire today. Why didn't you come all the other 364 days and say, hey, got to work, no flat tire, ring a ding a ding, good job.
Celebrate.
We don't do that. Yeah, we don't do that near enough.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And that little bit of negative, it can be allowed to control everything in our day when we have all these positives around us too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And so if I start my day looking for the positives, that's the way the rest of my day goes. And whatever I focus on, I get more of. So if I'm focusing on positive, guess what? I get more positive.
Yes, I love it. I love it. It is so true. And something else I loved was you said, when you are run by habits, you no longer control your trajectory. Your habits do. The habits you create determine what your future is like. That is so powerful. I mean, that is so true, Jeanie. So we really, would you say it's just such a benefit to us to realize what habits we're creating?
Yeah. Pay attention. We start doing something and then that something starts doing us. We create our habits and then our habits create us. So get somebody in your life that can point out some of those things to you. So I have a gentleman that just loves to argue. He doesn't care what it's about. He just loves to argue. And so I will take my idea to him and say, hey, guess what? And I'll state it. And he'll start arguing with me. And if I have enough reasons to support that idea, I keep it. I kind of think of it as like a tabletop with legs. If I've only got one leg, my tabletop is really wobbly. But if I've got a whole bunch of legs or a whole bunch of reasons that support that idea, that's solid. And so by arguing with him or stating my opinion, I'm able to flesh out those reasons. And then I go, okay, we're good. Yeah, I still believe that. But if I only have one and it's kind of flimsy, I look at it and I go, you know what? Maybe it's time to change that.
I
So look at
love
your habits.
that. I love that. How stable is my table? Great way to look at it. And isn't that fun? Because so many fun little things like that we can create personally to kind of have fun with, our ideas, our movements. What am I going to create? What am I looking for? We can really have fun with what we put out there to the universe and where we take our thoughts. And that's such a powerful thing.
No, it is much more fun to be a creator of my life than to be a reactor to my life.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a big part of being bullied, wouldn't you say, that how we react is everything. I mean, they don't change. The bully doesn't change, but our reaction is what changes us, what direction we're going to go. Yes. So what advice do you have someone that's really struggling with the bullying? I react, I get depressed, or it upsets me, it ruins my day. How do I change that reaction?
I would recommend the first place you look is inside of you. What are you saying to yourself? Because the bully between your ears is many times, 100 times worse than the bully outside of you. The reason the bully outside of you is so detrimental is because they're just confirming what you've already said.
Oh.
And so clean up the language in your own head first, and you will notice the exterior bullying disappear.
Wow. Yeah. So clean it up in your head and love yourself and give yourself the credit. And none of us are perfect. None of us are perfect,
No.
but we're wonderful,
Yeah.
and we're beautiful.
Yeah.
And, when we can let go of, I may never be perfect, I may never do everything that I wanted to do, but I'm wonderful. That makes a big difference, doesn't it?
Yeah. We are God's creation. We are created in his image. And we've sinned. We live in a fallen world. And perfection is a journey, not a destination.
Yeah.
And forgiveness freely applied helps us. Forgiveness of self, forgiveness of others, because we have been forgiven. And it's that, hey, tomorrow, guess what? I get to try again tomorrow, if I'm lucky enough to wake up. So many people take the day for granted. They just expect it. We may not be here tomorrow. I have no idea.
Yeah.
And so today I'm going to love and inspire and forgive and make mistakes and try again and cry and laugh. Get all of it in there that I can, because each moment must be savored.
Yes. Something that has always saved me when I'm going through challenges is to forget my challenges for a moment and focus on compassion and caring for others.
Mhm.
When we can do things like that, it can really open us up and change and we love ourselves for that. There's a story in your book about a young man that approached a boy that was carrying a lot of books from school.
Yeah.
That story just touched my heart. It was, that one act of kindness. Would you like to share the story quickly with
Yeah.
everyone? It's so beautiful.
It's the story of a young man who sees another young man. I don't remember their names. We'll call them Tim and Jim or Tim and Tom. I don't know. But Tim sees Tom carrying this huge stack of books home from school one day. And he's like, man, what's going on? And he thinks to himself, that guy's kind of, weird. Why is he carrying all them books? I got fun stuff planned. He must be a nerd. And so he just kind of starts walking on home. Well, some other boys come up and harass this young man, and he loses his glasses. And Tim is touched. His heart's touched. And he goes over and he's like, hey, man, just, ignore those guys. They're just whatever. And he helps him pick up his books. And then he invites him to hang out with him for the weekend. And that starts a beautiful, beautiful friendship. And years later, when they're getting ready to graduate from school, Tim learns that Tom was going to commit suicide that weekend. And that's why he was carrying all of his books home, so his mom didn't have to clean out his locker. And I can feel the emotion coming up.
Powerful story. Oh,
And he never knew until that moment. And in that moment, he saved someone's life.
yes.
And I still hold that story very close to my heart, because I also have quotes all over my walls, and you can see some of them behind me.
Love it.
And I have one that says, share your beautiful smile with someone today, because it may be the only sunshine they see.
Mm-hmm.
And I took that to heart, and I try to live by that. And so I see people and I smile at them, and I really see them. I really see them. And we don't always do that as a society.
That is so true. And it really is amazing what an act of kindness or compassion can do for someone else. It can change lives. And it's a powerful message that we don't know what someone's going through. We don't.
Yeah.
We don't know what they're going through.
Yeah.
And, all of that can make a huge difference. And something else I want to share. Your book, I always, bend the corners of pages and make notes on, things that I love, things you said. Your book is full of bent corners. Just, I want to go back and forth, read. But something you said is, and I love this, the conscious mind makes the decisions, but the subconscious mind runs our life. Oh my gosh. Share a bit more about that, please, Jeanie.
So the conscious mind is everything that we're aware of. right? And it can handle about 4,000 bits of information per second. So, but our unconscious mind or our subconscious mind can handle 4 million bits of information every second. And it takes in everything. And so we have this filter between the two called the reticular activating system. And the reticular activating system tells the subconscious tells the reticular activating system, this is what's important, this is what isn't. And so it kind of monitors that, because if we tried to pay attention to everything, we'd go crazy. I mean, think about your clothes. They're touching your body and you don't even feel them until you go, oh yeah, I got clothes on. Now you can feel them on your body, right?
Yes.
Well, if that was constantly going on, you'd be like, oh my gosh, you'd go crazy. And so the subconscious mind is responsible for dilating your pupils, pumping your blood, breathe more, breathe less, digest your food, endocrines, hormones, all of that. And it tells you how much of a muscle to use or how less of a muscle to use. And it constantly runs and monitors the body. So anything I put into my subconscious, my body does, and it believes it. So if I was told at a young age, as I was in elementary school, that you're too stupid, you'll never make it, and you continue to hear that, I can choose to believe it or not believe it.
Mhm.
And depending on what choice I make will influence the trajectory of my life until I make a new decision. The problem is the subconscious is things that we're not aware of. We have programs in there that we're not aware of. So if I say an apple a day, can you finish it?
Keeps the doctor away.
Right. That's a program that you have, but you haven't thought for that for probably years, right?
Uh-huh.
But as soon as somebody starts it, you can finish it. And
It's
so
a
that's the
library.
power of the subconscious. Yeah. So if I can train my subconscious that I'm beautiful, that I'm smart, that I'm capable, that I'm loved, that I'm needed in this time and space, then I will live my life as such. That's
Yes.
the power of the subconscious.
Yes. Really fascinating. So many things in your book open my eyes to being bullied and why and how we can move on through that. And something else you said that I thought was really powerful. When we are full of love, we can give some away. When we are lacking, we have to take it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think of it as like a red Solo cup, because everybody knows what a red Solo cup is, right? So I hold my red Solo cup in front of me and I carry it around all day. And the amount of love in it allows me to give some away or I need some. So often, especially mothers, dads, parents, friends, we are constantly pouring our cup out on our kids, on our spouse, on our friends, on our clients. And we don't always take the time to refill that cup. And
Wow.
so we've got to refill our cup. So every day I do things that I enjoy for at least part of the day. I schedule 10, 15 minutes to go hang out with my kids, or I'll go sit in the sunshine, or I'll take a hot, cozy bath, or I'll go for a walk in nature, or I'll sit and write in my gratitude journal. And I'll thank the Lord for all the things that He's given me.
Yes.
And that refills my cup.
Yeah. So, taking time every day to refill your cup,
Mm-hmm.
giving yourself that love and attention, that can make a huge difference in our lives, can't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. And when we do that, when we have the outside world out there bullying us or trying to make us, look small or putting us down because of what they have going on, it won't affect us because our cup is full.
Right. Right. And that is really where I started understanding the program Bully Proofing You. It wasn't called Bully Proofing You then, but I was a high school teacher and I was standing at my door welcoming students. And I had a student walking down the hall, and another student said something to him that I didn't think was really detrimental, but it almost devastated him. And he came into my classroom and he was upset, and I'm like, buddy, what's going on? And we talked for a little bit, and I'm like, wow,
Mhm.
and then later that same day, another student was walking down the hall, and a student said something that I thought was horrendous. And he comes in, he's totally fine. I'm like, dude, what's up? And he's like, that guy's an idiot. And I went, wait a minute, hang on, what's the difference? And
Mhm.
so I started doing all kinds of research, questioning my students, really, my friends, everything, digging into stuff. And I realized that the foundation was personal value. The first student allowed the other student to define who he was. The second student said, I'm not taking that label, peel that off and chuck it away. And so we need to be very careful about the labels we allow other people to stick on us.
Mhm.
Look at your labels. What do you have on you?
Yes.
Maybe it's time to peel some off and choose some new ones that go on.
We we can create our own labels, no one else.
Right.
Correct. We are in charge of that. Oh,
Yeah.
yes, that is so powerful.
Eleanor Roosevelt said, nobody can make you feel small without your permission,
Yes.
or
Oh,
something to that effect. But yeah, absolutely.
yes. Oh, yes. Before we say goodbye, Jeanie, share with everyone how they can learn more about you, get a copy of your book.
Okay, so we have a whole home study course online. It includes a physical copy of the book. It includes a digital copy of the book, a workbook, videos, and a training, about an hour and a half training that I do, all on bullyproofing yourself. And it is at bullyproofingyoubook.com.
Oh,
And you can go there and get this whole program, and plus a whole bunch of other, I keep putting more and more in it. And
love
so
it.
there's
Love it.
constantly little goodies that are getting in there. So please, bullyproofingyoubook.com.
I have to say thank you from my heart. This
Mm,
book and the information and what you're doing, oh my gosh, changing lives.
thank
Jeanie,
you.
I'm so grateful to have had you on the show today. Our time just flew by.
Well, good. I'm glad.
Oh, everyone, thank you for joining us today. Love, hugs, and blessings. Jeanie, love, hugs, and blessings. Thank
Yes,
you so much.
absolutely. Thank you.
Oh, bye, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.